All right, we are live. We'll be starting shortly. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Ian Bellina, your host, being joined here by Bill Noble. Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm good, Ian. Thanks for having me again.
Great, great. Hope you're having a great weekend. And man, what a week in crypto. All right. Never a dull day in crypto.
God. Funny, not funny. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I mean, because there's always something happening in crypto, even when it's not good, right? And you kind of like we discussed offline, not even the best storytellers of all time can come up with the stories that happen in crypto.
Yeah, no, you can't make this up. I'm always saying that, you know, in research, you get paid for imagination. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody could have imagined this.
I mean, CZ, Binance, everything happening. But first up, let's start off with the shout outs. Hey, Vosu Daniel, thanks for joining. Sergus, hello, what's up? Maverick Q84, Manich, Manuchek. Hey guys, you love it? Well, I hope you love crypto, but not what's currently happening, especially in China, right? I mean, things are very, very unpredictable. Hey, Ivan, thanks for joining the live stream. Today we have a ton of information in store, right? We're picking up where we left off from last week. We'll be doing a very long live stream. So Bill will be on for about an hour or so. Then I'll stay on for probably an hour or so as well after that, just answering your questions. So it's going to be a jam-packed live stream. So let's hop into it. Before we do, anything in particular you want to kind of talk about first, Bill? Before we kind of hop into the intros and all that stuff, just kind of set the table.
Well, yeah, I think you already said it best. I mean, in research, you get paid for imagination, and I couldn't have imagined what was going on here this week. Right. Somebody called me up and told me the news. I was like, oh, you're lying. So he wasn't. So I'm prepared to help our audience go through it all.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. And guys, Token Metrics, the limited launch is coming before the end of the month. So we have about 1 week left. So that means within 1 week, we'll be launching Token Metrics to about 2,000 people. This is think of this as a beta test for early testers, those who want to support what we've been working on for over 1 year. I mean, we're very excited to showcase this to the crypto world, especially with the machine learning portion we've added to Token Metrics. We don't really know anybody out there who's doing anything quite like this. Currently, we're running over 200 million machine learning models on cryptocurrencies every single day. Looking at over 100 cryptocurrencies. For each cryptocurrency, we're looking at over 74 data points, both quantitative and qualitative data points, meaning that we have people that go in, analysts like Sam, Paresh, go in and manually rating these cryptocurrencies from both technology and code reviews to fundamental analysis, and then also adding quantitative data points from other APIs like CoinMarketCap, and then giving that to a machine learning in the same manner like Google, AlphaGo, right? Where it then takes all that data and just learns and tries to find patterns in the data. I mean, we're very, very excited about this. We think this is really going to take everything we've been doing to a whole different level. So we're excited to give 2,000 people access to this. We'll have more information, but just make sure you've signed up at tokenmetrics.com. That's tokenmetrics.com. Make sure you've signed up there, and you're also on our Telegram alerts channel. All right. With that being said, if you're excited about the limited launch of Token Metrics, comment down below. Say yes, I'm excited. If you're not, just say no, I'm not excited. Maybe you're on the sidelines, you're totally out of crypto. But we think even with the bear market, there's still chances to make money. Offline, I was speaking with some people on our team. There've been projects like Synthetics and others that have been on a tear this year. I mean, Chainlink made people money this year, even in a bear market. So just because the market is, just because there's blood in the streets, does not mean some people are not eating, right? So the whole point of Token Metrics on our platform is to give people that edge, even when there's blood in the streets. It's definitely very tough, but that's why we have what we think is the best team around. And first up, we have Bill Noble. So Bill, quickly give us an intro on yourself for those who haven't seen you before.
All right. Hi. So really, since 1991, I've been studying charts and data. The big sort of institutional Wall Street or legacy market part of my career was done with Morgan Stanley and 12 years at Goldman Sachs. And in the mix, I've done chart work and things for retail investors at Charles Schwab. And I did a little work for a small startup that was bought by Morningstar. So in essence, what do? I take this much information and I boil it down to something that you can understand or read on your phone or listen to on YouTube. So I'm the information synthesis guy who makes things complicated into something simple.
And he's very damn great at it too.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bill. Thank you. And for those who don't know, I'm Ian Bellina. I'm the founder of Token Metrics. It's a data-driven investment platform we're building. So be sure to subscribe for our limited launch this coming week. I'm also a partner at 100x Advisors. It's a blockchain investment and advisory company. I used to work at IBM for 4 years in data and analytics with IBM Watson Analytics. I was an IBM executive in sales for IBM Open Source Analytics and also an engineer there for 3 years. And prior to that, I was working as an IT consultant at Deloitte. All right, so first up, the question of the day. Wow, this is a tough one, right? So first of all, go to mentimeter.com. Go to menti.com, MENTI.com, and use the code 136639. That's 136639. And the question is, has a new bear market started? Yes or no? Tell us what you guys think. Also, be sure to tell us in the comments below as well whether a new bear market has begun. For those who haven't seen or looked at crypto prices, this week, there was blood in the streets. Prices all across the board were down over 10%, mainly from news coming out of China. For those who don't know, right? The Chinese president a while back mentioned that they're going to make blockchain a imperative and high priority in China. But then in Shanghai and Shenzhen, they've been making arrests. Even there was a report from the Block Crypto saying that Binance's Shanghai office was shut down. Then CZ on Twitter said it was fake news, that they're decentralized. They don't really have a headquarters in Shanghai or China. And then he mentioned that he was going to sue the Block Crypto, which is something I think is actually a good idea, because I've also had my own issues with the Block Crypto putting out fake news. They like to put out lots of clickbait articles just to get views. But anyway, that's neither here or there. The main question of today is, has a new bear market started? Bill, what do you think?
All right. So my answer to the question would be no, I don't think it's a new bear market, with an asterisk of you don't know how far they can blow out the bulls on this sort of corrective smash, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's going to zero, right? Even though that camp's out there like 1,500, but you don't know where this could stop, right? Or how nasty it could be and how quickly it can be nasty. So, I can espouse more on that as we go along.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely very rough, because, I mean, it's hard to say has a new bear market started, because I feel like we're still in a bear market from 2 years back.
Right.
Especially
right.
With altcoins, all right? So it seems like this is just a prolonged bear market, because all of us thought China was going to come in and save us. China would be the saving grace and take Bitcoin to 20K and beyond, and all of us were going to become rich again and become crypto millionaires and have crypto retirement. But I mean, just like we said before, never a dull day in crypto. Something is always happening, right? And as you mentioned offline during our conversation, you mentioned that in equities market, can you kind of share that quote again?
Sure. I'll be happy to. So one of the things that seems prevalent here is if you watch the price action, right, it goes down a lot and then it comes back a lot, right? And to me, that looks like forced liquidation, right? Like a bear market is everyone just selling. Forced liquidation, I've seen it twice. I saw it in the bond market in 1994. I know nobody was born back then, but that's that's the first time I saw it. And then I saw it again in equities in 2008, when, the distress in the financial system caused people to sell, had to sell out whole portfolios because everybody was sort of going belly up, right? In this particular case, when you see these huge sharp drops out of nowhere and then these comeback rallies that fail, to me, that's forced liquidation.
Right? So do you think China or some governments around the world are forcing people to sell?
Basically, yes. Okay. So wow. Here's how I would break it down. You cannot possibly have a headline like China pays CZ and friends a visit in Shanghai. Now, I don't care if there's like 3 guys in a small office and it just says Binance on the door. The bottom line is the Chinese communicated with Binance somehow. And they also communicated with crypto entities in a town called Shenzhen, which is not exactly a vacation destination, but it happens to border Hong Kong. Okay. And the Chinese have made an obvious move, in my opinion, to control the situation in Hong Kong by limiting people's ability to use crypto as a way to get money off the mainland and out of Hong Kong. Okay. And how did they do that? Well, who knows? Maybe they called up CZ and said, you know what? I need you to start selling your inventory or we're going to shut you down. Or I need these accounts liquidated or these whales to, these whales in China or these Chinese accounts to just absolutely unload on this market to discourage people from using crypto. Right. So everybody was waiting for the Chinese to send troops into the streets of Hong Kong. And the Chinese like, nah, we'll skip that. We'll just pick on crypto. And of course, as we discussed, that was not in my, pool of possible ideas. They would just literally call up somebody, an exchange, a client. We don't know what's going on. We just know the price action that we saw. Right. So
yeah. So I think it's definitely big news, right? Because so for those who haven't followed the news coming out of China, China has been going on a rampage, especially in Shanghai, shutting down cryptocurrency exchanges, right? Saying that they should not be catering to China, Chinese nationals, what have you. So it seems like they're saying they're pro crypto on TV, then off of TV, they're just trying to shut down everything. Right. And trying to make sure they have control. So actually, you know what? I for some reason, this makes me even more bullish on crypto. And I'll say why. I feel like the fact that they're doing this now means that they're trying to get involved and are just trying to take out anybody who could contest them. Right.
That's right. That's exactly what they're doing. Right. They're trying to. That's why all the selling is concentrated in all the big coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. I mean, the Chinese have told somebody to liquidate, period.
Yeah, because this kind of makes me think of the mafia, right? Imagine the mafia wants to expand to a brand new city. You find the other competing mafia bosses and you just take them out. Once you take them out, then you become the Don. Right. So it seems like China is trying to take out any exchange, anybody who could challenge them in terms of what they're trying to achieve with kind of like a centralized blockchain or centralized crypto ecosystem in China.
Right. In other words, we talked about this, that, it was great that they made the statement about blockchain, but ultimately they think blockchain is great because they can read everything on the blockchain and control everything. So, now they just identified, they've identified parties. They could be miners. We don't know who it is, but, basically the Chinese have told people, we're going to scare you and we want you to liquidate now. Right. And don't stop liquidating until we tell you to. That's what that's what it feels like, because this came out of nowhere. Somebody called me up with the news out of Shanghai and I was like, yeah, right, dude, you're
all right.
Dude, I know you're bearish, but you don't have to result in making stuff up. And he wasn't.
All right, so I think let's hop into some TA.
Okay.
So let's do some technical analysis on Bitcoin. And then after that, we'll get back to our question of, has a new bear market started? Okay. And as you pull that up, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So here's what I would call your Bitcoin basics, right? The purple line here. Okay. The purple lines. Okay, it's called a parallel channel, meaning these two lines are parallel. So Bitcoin has been traveling in this like downward sloping sort of box, if you will. And when we draw out the bottom of the box, it comes in somewhere between 5,500 and 6,000, right? Which a lot of the Elliott wave purists have been talking about, right? And what's really interesting about that number is, that's really where the rally launched from in May, right? So if people think the target is 6,000, then we're sort of forced to imagine that there might be like a flash crash below that. Could be 5,500. Hope it's not worse than that, but 6,000 looks like the vacation destination for Bitcoin, right? Now, when you look at the futures contract, it's even more pronounced. Okay, this is Bitcoin futures. Okay, here we are in May where this thing launched from. So you've got this horizontal resistance point and you've got some of our favorite speed resistance line, right at 6K. And I wouldn't doubt that Now, I wouldn't doubt that it went there in like 2 or 3 days, right? And you're going to say, wow, that's crazy. How could you say that? Well, I mean, back in 2017, there was a melt up right at Thanksgiving. It just exploded, right? We sat around the dinner table going, wow, this is great, right? You know, the inverse could be happening now, right? People were getting forced in back then, and now they might be getting forced out.
That's crazy.
That is
Well,
crazy.
I hope we have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we got to either hope, if you're bullish, you got to hope that it rallies, or you just got to turn your phone off.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of done that for the most part. I don't really check crypto prices nowadays. I've just been building. But man, wow! So 6,000 is the target for Bitcoin.
Right. I mean that's where it can go. I mean, that's like the next.
Yeah. So 1,000 more to go.
Right. And then, you know, if you move over to Ethereum, you know, here's what kind of bugs me. See, this line right here, without going into the long story, we used some Fibonacci analysis, and that was the point where Ethereum should have started rallying based on history, right? Now, what happens if something should go up, but it doesn't? Well, it should go down. And if the Chinese raid your offices, it's definitely going down. All right. So there's support in Ethereum at 140. You know, that was a point where, you know, kind of the rally launched from, you know, back in March. Okay. If we're in some kind of panic phase, 140 may not matter, right? It just may not, right? I mean, if you look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin, I mean, this was the chart that we were in love with this. Anybody who reads our blog, we're like, oh my God, you know, if this can just take out this line around, you know, 22, then, you know, we think Ethereum can lead the next move. And then it just failed. And now it's a head and shoulders top, which is a bearish formation in technical analysis. And it looks like, you know, they could just take Ethereum wherever they wanted to on the downside. And, you know, it actually really hurts for me to say that. Like, I was like, wow, is there anything I can point to that's good here at the moment? And the answer is, unfortunately, no. No,
Wow.
there isn't. Right. I thought this was going to be the leader on the upside. And I'm looking at my charts, and I got to look at them for a couple more days, because I'm still in disbelief that this could wind up the leader on the downside. Right. Because if you look at, you know, total market cap excluding Bitcoin, you know, so that's going to be very Ethereum heavy, or it's going to be, you know, dependent on a lot of the big coins rather, you know, BIG. You know, one of the things that I learned when I was 21 from a guy who was a big proprietary trader at the Swiss bank I worked for, he said, triple bottoms don't hold. Right. So a double bottom should create a rally, which is what we expected with total market cap. But now look at it. Right. It's back down here again, and it looks like it just wants to go to pieces. Right. And part of that, I think, has to do with what's going on in the likes of Litecoin, right? So this is where this whole idea about somebody being forced to liquidate inventory, miners, Binance, somebody. Mm-hmm. What we've seen with these black arrows here, here, and here is that every time we've had a Litecoin kind of crash, Litecoin has found sort of a way to make its move to this Fibonacci line that we like to draw. So without going into the details of how we draw it, basically it looks like the next line comes in at 20. So in other words, if Litecoin just continues to do what it's been doing when it goes down, you're looking at 20. Right? And Bitcoin Cash, you know, this is rated R. This is like, don't let your children. Anybody under 18 needs to take a restroom break. I mean, this is Bitcoin Cash. This is a giant head and shoulders. And what's really unbelievable about this is when you have these head and shoulders pattern, you have this black line called the neckline. And normally what happens is you'll break down here, okay? And then you'll retest the neckline this way, okay? So basically, Bitcoin Cash has done an absolutely textbook head and shoulders. All right. So we think at a minimum, this can go to 111 because that's just where a fib speed line is. If we actually drew the target, right? I know that's wow, right?
But I mean, I guess to spin things, so I see Michael. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining the stream. He's saying we can short, right? So maybe there's a positive in this, right? Maybe if you not become a bear, we could short.
Yeah, I mean, there's things to short, and this is probably one of the things to consider shorting because the way these things work, the way head and shoulders patterns work is you travel this distance from the point of the breakdown. Okay. So this is pointing, is this distance here projected down here. So you're talking about Bitcoin Cash joining Litecoin as a potential double-digit entity, right? And we know that Chinese miners like Bitmain have got tons of this stuff. So, this stuff's pretty frightening, and it makes me wonder if we're entering a new phase in crypto, if the Chinese are going to force everyone to liquidate in a very confined period of time, whether or not, an altcoin is going to rise up and actually replace some of these bigger coins, okay. I mean, that's something to consider.
So prior to getting to that, actually, let's get back to our question. So the first question we had was, has a new bear market started? And people have responded. And the answer is, it's a tie. Wow. It's a tie. That one I didn't see coming. Actually, let me just share my screen briefly here, Bill.
Okay.
Okay, so it seems people are still bullish. Some people, obviously, based on the current things that have happened in the last few weeks, think a new bear market has started. But based off of this, hold on. So based off of this, it's a tie, which I didn't really see coming. What's your take on that, Bill?
Well, I mean, it makes sense that, some people would be like, well, this is a correction. That's what the hodlers will say, right? Mm-hmm. And then some people will be on the verge of rage quitting, which is totally understandable because, I had to basically rage quit Ethereum, or right. So you might say, wow, this is so depressing. This does feel like a bear market. So, it does make sense that that's how people would look at it.
I mean, because based on the charts and from talking to you, it seems like, I think you mentioned earlier, maybe offline, that we could even go to 1,500.
Well, I mean,
universe.
Yeah, I mean, there are people out there that were talking about 1,500, right? And that's like bearish hyperbole, right, at the time. But when you have a period of forced liquidation, right? I mean, nobody in 2008 imagined that the S&P was going to go down 40%. Nobody thought that. Nobody. Even the people who saw it coming weren't like, oh yeah, this is going to go down 40%. So, yeah. People who talk like that, you have to start to take these downside targets, 6,000, we could be there in the morning, 4,000, 1,500, Galaxy Digital, a hedge fund, Mike Novogratz. I mean, ironically that started rallying, but, one thing I did notice about that was, it unwound its whole annual gain over the last couple of months. So if Bitcoin does that, it goes back to 3,000 right now. I thought Galaxy Digital was going to rally, and so was crypto, but, I didn't know, the Chinese the guys, the men in black, were headed for CZ's office in Shanghai. So I didn't know that.
It's very tough to predict, and kind of the old adage is true. Markets go up in an escalator and come down in an elevator, right? So you mentioned equities lost 10 years worth of gains in 2 months, something like that.
Something like that. Right.
Right.
I mean,
So,
interest rates are basically zero. When I was 23 years old, I saw so much selling in bonds that the yield on the 30-year bond was 8 1/8. Right.
Yeah.
That might be the interest rate you get on a car or a mortgage. That was an interest rate you got on a government bond.
Wow.
So that was one of the biggest bear markets I'd ever seen.
Well, I mean, I wasn't really involved in that, but for me, this has been the biggest bear market I've ever seen.
Right. Well,
and
anybody in crypto now has bear market cred for the rest of their lives. Let's put it that way.
I mean, like, imagine 20 years or even 30 years from now, or imagine when Bitcoin hopefully gets past 100,000 or even 1 million. We look back and we say, we survived this 2-year bear market, right?
Right. And that's the name of the game. It's not only survival, but it's keeping your head clear so that you can find the opportunities even when everyone's freaking out, because, as you can see from your screen, people are starting to freak out. I have seen people rage quit this thing on Twitter already.
Yeah. So speaking of opportunities, I think we should probably start thinking or looking more into coins we can short, because that seems to be probably one of the few ways to survive in this market, is just shorting, especially altcoins that have no chance at all, from both fundamental technology and then technical analysis combined. All right, so next question we have, go to menti.com, menti.com, and use the code 136639. That's 136639. The question is, do you think an altcoin can replace Bitcoin? I mean, this is a tough one, but hey, let us know what you think. Vote on Menti. Also tell us in the comments if you do think an altcoin can replace Bitcoin, yes or no. And tell us what altcoin you think could possibly replace Bitcoin. Is it Ethereum? Is it Bitcoin Cash? Is it some other altcoin that's going to come out and eventually be a much better version of Bitcoin than what Bitcoin can do right now? Let us know in the comments below. All right, so back to you, Bill. Let's do some TA on some alts.
All right, let's take a look. So let's start with alts in general, okay? Because this is like a really important chart that's going to matter for all of crypto and the alt universe. Okay, so this is from CoinTrader. It's Bitcoin dominance, right? And I drew this triangle using TradingView's like sort of symmetrical triangle tool. And right now there's a battle going on. There's a battle right here between, is Bitcoin dominance going to go up? In other words, was this a fake out? Right. In other words, I was like, wow, when it broke through the bottom of the triangle, I was like, oh, wow, alts are going to do really good. And then the whole thing just turned around. And when you have what's called a false breakdown out of a formation, just keeping it real simple, you can have a super big move the other way, right? So if the alt universe starts falling apart, Bitcoin dominance has the potential to go up a lot. Or if everybody calms down, it could go the other way. So I'm not hedging myself. But what I am saying is, if alts start falling apart here, that could accelerate. Okay. Now, that said, I do think that there are some alts that we need to pay attention to very closely. Okay. One of them, obviously, is Binance Coin. Okay. We talked about this back when it was falling apart in October. And Binance Coin has come back to its key level of 15. Now, I understand that, there were these headlines in the block and, CZ is all upset, but if there's really actually something going on with the Chinese and Binance, we'll know because Binance coin will crack 15 because that's a big technical support level. Now, on a more positive note, right, we have, possibly our favorite play in crypto, Cosmos. Okay. It broke out here. Okay. And now Cosmos has held support and now it's trying to go up. Now, normally I'd be like, wow, this is great. I think people are running into Cosmos for safety. I think they're saying, you know what? This is so beat up. It's down so much. And the technology is so good that if I'm going to survive a huge washout, I'm going to get out of Bitcoin and put some money into Cosmos. Right? Like we saw this the other day where alts were bouncing. And sometimes this happens where people are like, people are like running from a forest fire. They're just trying to get shelter anywhere they can. So, that's potentially what's going on here. Now, we do see, like we saw Seller Network make a move today, okay? And we saw Matic make a move recently, and Matic is a great example, okay? So here is everyone running into Matic, trying to find safety. And then here is a rather grotesque candlestick with everyone coming off. Now, this makes a key point. When these things exist, like in 2008, nothing was safe. A lot of people don't remember this. In 2008, gold crashed. Like guys had to rage quit gold. Like guys who saw this thing was going to blow up had to just go, I'm out. I'm done. I had to sell out my gold position. I saw the move coming and I bought the wrong thing. So I know people are trying to find safety somewhere in crypto, and this may be the type of forced liquidation where, it's not safe until Christmas. I was trying to be neutral. I was like, I think a Bitcoin rally is a 2020 phenomenon because I was just trying to stay neutral, not knowing the men in black were, checking weapons outside CZ's Shanghai offices. It's a 2020 phenomenon. The only question is how low is it going to go? And, the answer is until the Chinese are done pressuring people to liquidate. Unfortunately.
Wow. Well said. Well said. So I actually want to just give people a quick preview of Token Metrics here and see what it has to say on some of the coins we've covered. So once again, for those who are just joining, we'll be doing a limited launch, a beta launch of Token Metrics to 2,000 people. So 1,000 people will be getting free basic accounts for the rest of your life as a lifetime for being an early adopter. Then we'll also give discounts to the first 1,000 people on the paid plans. But anyway, so here we're looking at the technical analysis for Ethereum, and it's pretty bearish, just kind of based on this. Now, this updates every single day. And yeah, I mean, just to kind of go with the market, but Ethereum is still a solid project. Fundamentals are still good. Technology is still great. If we go to Bitcoin, the technicals are not so good, right? Technicals on Bitcoin, obviously, this kind of follows the conversation we've had. Bitcoin is going to 6,000, maybe even lower, possibly. But Bitcoin as a project is still pretty good, right? The technology is still amazing. The fundamentals are still there. So long term, we're still bullish on Bitcoin, right? Long term, because our grades are focused on the long term of each crypto we analyze. And then Cosmos. Cosmos, the TA actually is saying it's pretty bullish. And Cosmos, as Bill said, the fundamentals and technology are solid, right? They're solid. Although it's an altcoin, right? That's why. So for now, I would just say ignore the overall score because we're still fine-tuning it prior to our launch. Just kind of look at each subset of each score. So the technology is solid compared to all the altcoins out there. If you're going to hold an altcoin, obviously not financial advice, just our opinion, Cosmos from a tech perspective and fundamental perspective is very, very good. Now, when the technicals line up, we think this one can really go on a tear. And then Matic Network, the technical is neutral, not so good, but the technology is solid. Actually, probably from a tech perspective, let me go here to it's one of the best projects out there you could be in from a technology standpoint. It's the fourth best project in our opinion from a technology perspective, right? The only other projects better, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance, because Binance has just done everything. Now, from a purely fundamental perspective, because people always ask Ian, what are the top projects right now? From fundamentals, those haven't really shifted. Let me see if we're bullish on anything. Tether. So, I mean, Tokenmetrics says Tether, it's bullish on Tether right now. So basically be on the sidelines. Tezos, Cosmos, these are just purely looking at the indicators, not looking at anything else, purely the indicators. If we look purely at the grades right now, they're pretty much the same, right? We're still in the process of fine tuning it, but just wanted to kind of give you guys a preview of the platform. So once again, just go to tokenmetrics.com to sign up. We'll be sending out details this coming week via email and also via our Telegram group. So it's going to be first come, first serve. So hopefully you guys get access to that. And with that being said, let's go to our question. So the question was, do you think an altcoin can replace Bitcoin? Maybe people are very bullish on Cosmos or something else, right? So who is the winner? No. Bitcoin is still king. Bitcoin takes the throne. All right. Any other altcoins you would like to take a look at, Bill, before we start, before we go to the AMA?
No, I think I think I covered what needed to be covered. Right. Just basically the motto is, protect yourself while this type of thing is going on. Right. It's an outlier. That means it's something that doesn't normally happen. It wasn't something that was expected to happen. Just take care and protect yourself. We want our customers, our readers to be okay.
All right. Okay. Hold on. So question from the audience. How come every time I invest, BTC tanks? This is a good question. I mean, I think just putting things into perspective, it's been a prolonged bear market if you look at since 2017. But if you put it in perspective, just for this year, Bitcoin is still up because Bitcoin was at 3,000, right? So now it's at what, 7,000? So that's if you got in early this year, that's still over 100% return on your investment, right? So I think people, especially in crypto, may have tunnel vision or short-term mindset. But if you're consistent, whether you're dollar cost averaging or whether you're just timing it, so I would say maybe your timing is not so good, right? So that's why we put out content like this, and we have experts like Bill on the show who can give us better information, because information is crucial, right? Having bad information can lead to bad investment results, and having great information.
And with this question, the question really is, the price action lulled me into thinking everything was okay. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. And this actually happened last year to some of the biggest hedge fund guys out there. They thought 6,000 was going to hold in 2018. They went on Twitter and said, this is the bottom. And then it lost half its value. So, I feel your pain out there, and Bitcoin does have a tendency to lull people to sleep and then drop. And then the buy point frequently is when people are hysterical, right? Like at 3,000.
Yeah. And I mean, crypto is definitely a very tough market to time. And that's why we think Tokenmetrics is really going to help, because we're taking human capital, experts like Bill and Paresh and Sam and our team, but then also leveraging computers, because artificial intelligence, machine learning is the future. And that's something even us, despite how much time and effort we put into learning this, we know that humans have limitations. And if we can aid what we have, aid our weaknesses with machine learning, we think we can really become better investors. And that's why when we're rating projects, we're running 200 million machine learning models a day. which is pretty insane. I don't really know anybody out there who's doing anything like this. Maybe some secret quant funds in crypto, but I don't know anybody who's doing something like this and making this so accessible to the general public, right? Because with us, we're really trying to empower all of crypto, right? But because of just the nature of what we're doing, we can't have everybody, we can't have the whole market using this technology. So that's why we're starting out slowly with a limited launch, right? Only to 2,000 people, 1,000 on the free plan and 1,000 on the paid plans, and then slowly, gradually scaling up. So I was going through this article on Jim Simons of the Medallion Fund, who's probably the best performing quant fund or hedge fund of all time. He's had over almost 40% returns since 1965, I believe. Something crazy, twice the annual returns of Warren Buffett. And even his fund, so he was a former MIT professor, code breaker, who basically uses quantitative technology, basically machine learning and algorithms, kind of like what we're doing. Had no prior experience in Wall Street or finance, went to Wall Street, built a hedge fund, and just dominated. But even with his fund, he had to eventually shut down, well, not shut, he had to close the fund, return capital back to investors. And now I believe it's only for employees, because the stuff they're doing can only be done with a particular amount of capital, right? The fund can't really get too big. So this is kind of what we think. We think quantitative trading and investing is the future. According to PwC last year, only quant funds made money. Bitcoin was down 72% in 2018, but the average quant fund, based on the PwC survey, made 8%. Meaning that they made 8% on their money when everybody else who was holding Bitcoin lost 72% of their money. And it's not changing. It's going to get more and more unfair. And we think the only way to really compete with them is to have the same technology. And we're making that accessible to everybody via Tokenmetrics. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Okay, next question. Top 3 alts you would buy right now. Okay, any thoughts on that, Bill, as I pull up Tokenmetrics here?
All right. Well, I think we kind of went through that. I mean, we talked about Cosmos, we talked about Matic. I'm interested in, a couple of coins, but, what would I buy right now? I wouldn't. Right. I mean, so I think you're going to learn a lot about alts by what survives when this whole thing wipes out. Now, actually, I changed my mind. If I had like Vegas money, I would do Decred. Right.
Decred. Okay.
Delphi, a big crypto hedge fund, put out a paper about Decred. I saw Decred present at the Texas Bitcoin conference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They have an interesting algorithm, as I understand it, that kind of prevents any one mining group from becoming too dominant while still remaining kind of a decentralized proof of work currency, if I followed that correctly. So Decred is a potential new Bitcoin. And okay, I'm sure Decred, like everything else, is going to get hurt on this decline.
Yeah.
But, if I had to take some money and put it in a wallet and throw it in a safety deposit box and then go get it 30 years from now, I might consider Decred.
All right. So looking here at Tokenmetrics, the fundamentals are actually very, very solid for Decred. So we definitely know this from fundamental perspective. It's not a scam, which is huge in crypto, right? That's the first thing to know. Technology is actually pretty good, pretty decent. And then, yeah, so just technicals have to line up on that. Okay, very interesting, very interesting. Let me see what our machine learning models. Yeah, it's been kind of hard to predict Decred the last month. Well, it's been hard to predict almost anything the last month because of China. Right, China has definitely thrown a wrench in our machine learning models. But so yeah, so based on this, it thinks Decred is going to go down. But okay, so to share my perspective, let me go back. So first thing I would say is what's the time frame? If you're thinking super long term, if we're talking several years, 3 to 5 years, I would go purely based on the overall grades we have here in Token Metrics, right? So I would say Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, Binance, and Cosmos are the top 5 right now at this particular point in time that we think will last long term and have the best returns. If we had to maybe go more short term, looking at purely the TA, well, right now, Tether, right? First thing first, or is Warren Buffett says rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't lose money. Right. So right now, Tether is a good place to park your money in. And then Tezos. I know Tezos recently had news coming out of Coinbase. Coinbase has expanded the custody for Tezos, the custody for staking, I believe, for Tezos globally. Right. And then Cosmos and some others. So I think those are probably, so my top 3. Yeah. Well, based on Token Metrics and the data we have right now, those are probably the top 3. And it's really just saying that these are safer or more conservative than holding any other alt right now, right? Because alts are going to get wrecked for the most part, short term, right? Now, there obviously could be some outliers, right? Like synthetics and others, but yeah, I think for the most part, hopefully that answers the question. Okay, let's go back to Mentimeter. So if you have any questions, just go to menti.com, MENTI.com, and use the code 136639, 136639, and ask your questions there. Okay, so this seems like a statement. Bear market started when we broke 9K in late September, and now we'll find bottom in the mid 5Ks. 3K bottom was the final one. What's your take on this, Bill? You're the chart expert.
Well, I mean, this is sort of in line with what we're talking about, right? He's saying, the bear market ended when we hit 3,000. Okay. And now this is a very harsh correction of that, sort of December to June up move that we have. This is what these type of corrections can do. They can just wash people out. So, that was his way of saying that's what he thinks. It's not a new bear market. It's a radically unpleasant flush where everyone gets forced out.
Yeah. So actually, let me add to that. Yeah. So it's not a new bear market for Bitcoin, but alts haven't seen any breathing room at all, in a way. All right. So next question. At what BTC price will miners capitulate? Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Wow, that's a good question. Okay. So my understanding is cost of production is somewhere in like the 3,000 to 4,000 range. Okay. So last year, one of the reasons why the whole market fell apart was that, when hardware upgrades came out, Bitcoin just dropped below the cost of production for most miners. So the question is, what's the miner breaking point? Probably 4,000.
4,000. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So in other words, the ecosystem is in trouble below 4,000.
Yeah. I'm not sure what site miners use, but I would think there should be some site that tracks how much it costs a miner to mine a Bitcoin in real time. If anybody knows what that site is, please comment below and we'll take a look. But yeah, I mean, miners, if they aren't making money, then it's not really good, right? So actually, I did do an interview recently with a miner in Siberia. It was on Crypto Rich YouTube channel. I posted the link to the video in our Telegram group and alerts channel. But yeah, I mean, because miners nowadays, they're doing all kinds of things just to cut down costs. I mean, going to Siberia, mining in the cold. And actually, you know what? I'm probably going to have to look more into the mining business. I've kind of overlooked it for the last 2 to 3 years in crypto because I've just been more of an investor. But hey, when tough times call for new measures, right? So always makes sense to diversify different ways of making income, right? If we can even just invest in like a mining pool, right? So this year I did begin staking. I was staking MetaHash, which was doing pretty well until the whole market just tanked. But staking, I think, is definitely a long-term viable opportunity, especially for cryptocurrencies. And Ferrum Network, who were actually winners of our Crypto World Tour in Lagos, Nigeria, on Friday launched staking as a service. So they launched this new software that lets any cryptocurrency project or team add staking to their token. This is only for ERC20 tokens, but any ERC20 token, their project can reach out to the Ferrum team and add staking to their project or token, which I think is very, very cool, right? And it definitely incentivizes people to hodl a lot longer. So I'm very curious to see how that performs. All right, Bill, before we have you leave, any last words, anything you want to share or talk about?
Yeah, folks, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Stay safe in crypto. Just know that we'll be here for you no matter what the market does. And we appreciate your business and your viewership.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you, Bill. It's a pleasure having you on. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next week on the show. Now, right. I'll be hanging on for an hour or so just to answer any questions.
All right, so, Ian, have a great holiday. Take care, everybody.
Sure. Bye. All right, guys. And then there was one. All right, so first hour is up. Now it's time for the second hour. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's answer some of your questions. Okay, so we've answered a question about when will miners capitulate. Okay, next question, very good question. How do I sign up for Token Metrics? Okay, so you just go to our website. Let me pull this up here, right? Tokenmetrics.com. Okay, oops, my bad. Okay, I guess our developer is doing something with the site, so it is not working. Would have been good if he gave me a heads up. Okay, so the site will be back up shortly. I'll have to take a look after the show to see why he took it down. Actually, let me see if I can even do it now. Yeah, apologies, guys. Apologies. But yeah, go to tokenmetrics.com, and once the site is back up, and join our email list, and then we'll send out an email this coming week. If that's not, yeah, so that's pretty much the best way I would recommend to do it. And then also, I would say join our Telegram group. Just go to Telegram, it's public, and search for Tokenmetrics alerts and Tokenmetrics discussion. And make sure you've joined that, right? So we'll be communicating on those. Actually, I think I can fix it now. Yeah, can't believe it. I was talking the whole time and the site wasn't even up. Apologies, guys, for that. Okay, now let's take a look. Hopefully it's now working, right? That's what happens when you do it live. All right, there we go. Problem has been resolved. Problem has been resolved. Okay, hold on. Yes, okay, guys. Apologies for that. Site is back up now. Yes, so go to tokenmetrics.com. This is the page. Just subscribe for updates. Put in your name and your email. Then we'll send out email communication this coming week So the idea is we'll send out an email with the launch date this coming week, and then we'll send out an email 24 hours before the actual date announcing that the exact time it's going to go live. And then you have 24 hours to do what to get ready, mark your calendars, all that. Then when the launch comes, it's first come, first serve, right? Once again, we're going to have, actually, since we're already here, I might as well just talk about the different tier plans we have, right? So we'll have different tiers of plans. We'll have a basic plan, which will give you access to, actually, it probably makes sense if I just show you guys, might as well, right? I hadn't really planned on making this public just yet, but maybe not. Okay, so the basic plan, everybody who signs up, the first 1,000 people to sign up, I should say, first 1,000 people to sign up will get access to ratings. So you have access to this page. You have the top 20 cryptocurrencies based on market cap, right? So top 20. So meaning top 20 right now from Maker. Okay, hold up. Okay, so from Maker DAO, I believe, Maker, all the way to Bitcoin, you will have the grades. You will see all these grades, right? So that's going to be free. Then you can view the details for Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is the most popular cryptocurrency out there. You can view the grades, all that for Bitcoin, right? And that's free to the first 1,000 people. Then for the next 1,000 people on the paid plan, the premium plan, we'll have different tiers. So we'll have what we're calling a hodler plan, meaning this is going to be 300 people, right? It's capped at 300. We'll have access to the details of the top 20, right? So if you wanted to follow, let's say, IOTA, right? If you wanted to have the full fundamental review on IOTA, right? All that information we have, right? The full technology review, right? All that stuff, right? That's going to be top 20. And then we'll have the investor plan, which is for the top 100, right? So top 100 in market cap, right? Guys, we've gone through and we've manually rated a lot of cryptocurrencies, right? So as mentioned, we're not doing just ICOs or IEOs, we're doing tokens that are currently trading, right? So this has not been easy getting our team to go through and manually review these projects, right? So top 100, based on market cap that we have entered in the system, you have access to those, right? There are also a bunch of other details that I can't really cover here because I'm not trying to go through every single detail, but for the most part, you have that. Then you'll have access to the machine learning, right? So let's say you want to look at ontology and you want to look at the price predictions, right? And similar to our spreadsheet, we're going to be very, very transparent with everybody with the accuracy of our machine learning models, right? So whether it's doing good or bad, we're going to put it here for the whole world to see, right? Because I mean, the idea is to make everybody believe and be fully transparent, right? So the last month hasn't really been so great, right? Well, great compared to the last months, right? So 2 months ago and 3 months ago, the model was working pretty well, but I mean, China happened. I mean, China and whatever else happened, right? Which was hard to predict. But looking at that, the model is saying ontology for the most part is pretty neutral, right? Not much change in price. But I mean, I think to kind of walk you through how the models work, right? Because, right, the machine learning models we're building are pretty, I mean, this is probably what I'm most proud of, right? So to kind of, let me change it, make it full screen. So we're using reinforcement learning to train these models for cryptocurrencies, which has been done before, but we're making this publicly available and consumable for everybody, similar with the spreadsheet, right? Why we think it's so big. This is how the models work, right? We take a cryptocurrency like, let's say, ontology, and then we go through and we manually grade ontology based on fundamentals. Then we manually grade it based on the technology and the code. Then we have an automated system that goes through and grades it based on technical analysis indicators and signals in real time that change and update every single day. And we get all these different data points, right? Right now, it's over 74 different data points, right? So the spreadsheet I had before didn't have as many data points as this. We have over 74 data points just on ontology, right? So we take these data points and then we create 100 randomized, hold on, sorry. So we take these data points and we grade it and we give it a grade, right? That grade can be, let me go back to, so you guys can see what I'm talking about, right? So right now the grade, our grade for ontology is pretty bearish, right? So it's basically a D, right? So let's say we give ontology a grade of a D. Once it has this grade, we then take this as the benchmark, right? We backtest it and see the performance of our grades over time, right? So every single day as our grade is changing, how good is this at predicting alpha, right? Or at giving a positive ROI, right? So for example, the test could be, so ideally, we would say anything over, let's say anything, me personally, I would not put money in anything below 70% grade wise, right? So meaning right now in this market, the only cryptocurrencies I would personally looking at our tokenomics data are Cardano, Maker, Neo, Eternity, 0x, Zcash, Cosmos, Binance, Dash, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Everything else, now is not the time to touch it. Obviously not financial advice, just our opinion, but looking at our data, right, we're limiting the number of shitcoins we can touch, basically, right, to what we think right now are the solid based on everything, right? Because it's never purely about the fundamentals. It's never purely about technology and never purely about technical analysis. You have to factor everything in, right? This is kind of like factor form investing, but having a holistic viewpoint when it comes to investing. And the mindset we have for this is long-term, right? So anyway, back to the machine learning models and how they work, right? So with ontology, right, or any cryptocurrency, we take our grade as a benchmark, we backtest it, then we have the model create 100 variations, right? Basically run 100 randomized variations, right? So we use what's called genetic algorithm. It's a form of machine learning without getting too technical, but I'll try to explain it in a very simple format. We take 100 variations and we rate them and score them. And if any of those randomized models beat our scoring system, we replace it with that new model that's performing better than what our human capital has put together. And then we repeat that, we take that winning model and we create 100 new models derived from that model. So think of it as having children. We create 100 children. It's kind of like breeding horses or breeding dogs, right? So imagine we're trying to breed a stallion for horse racing. So we keep on repeating that over the course of several generations. So 100 offspring or children per generation, and we're creating 500 generations. So each cryptocurrency gets tested over the course of 500 generations. So that's 100 times 500 generations means we have 50,000 models just for that cryptocurrency. And that's just for one thing. That's just for the fundamental analysis grade, right? So 50,000 models just for the fundamental analysis grade every single day for Bitcoin, for Ethereum. And then we do the same thing for technology. It also gets 50,000 models, then technical analysis. And then we combine the three grades and have the machine learning model create a new supermodel, pun intended, a new supermodel that finds the ideal weights of how that works and sees if that's good at predicting. So all in all, we're looking at 200,000 models per cryptocurrency every single day. And then we have 100 cryptocurrencies currently in our system. So combined as a platform, we're looking at, is it 200? Yeah, I think, okay, I have to double check the math, but over 20 million models. I think 200 million models based on the math. Actually, hold on, let me just make sure, let me fact check myself before I put out anything. But as I'm doing this, guys, if you have any questions you'd like to ask me, just go to mentimeter.com and ask your questions there. But I just want to do the math here. Okay, so we have 100 children or offspring times 500 generations. So 50,000 models just on each segment, fundamental analysis, right? Times the 4 different things. Look at fundamental, technical, code, and technology, and the overall. So 200,000 models we're looking at every single day. Times, okay, yeah, so sorry guys, 20 million models we look at. But I mean, we think that's crazy. So we've been trying to really innovate, and hopefully this works. We feel like mad scientists. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, everything will be there fully transparent. Okay, next question. Okay, next question. Do you guys understand the power of the computer science term formal verification? It's key in the success of crypto. Yes, yeah. So we have heard the term formal verification. That's what Cardano is building. Right? So for those who don't know, formal verification is a way to test the code to make sure that it works 100% exactly the way it's meant to work. So formal verification is what's used, for example, for building software that's going to take astronauts to the moon, where you have to guarantee that this is going to work or somebody could die. So formal verification is really a field of computer science that's very, very, very technical. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert of it, but I am aware of it. I am aware of blockchains doing that. That's what Cardano is doing. And Cardano has pretty good technology. If we pull it up here in token metrics. Our team did look at Cardano, and it was very, very solid. Yeah, technology is 87%. I mean, that says for anything besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, that is as good as it gets. So looking here, the only thing it didn't score well in is innovation and architecture, but code quality was perfect. Everything else, the team, usability, the mainnet. Now, okay, let me see here, innovation. I mean, because they're competing in a very crowded market, they're competing against Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Cosmos and other projects, right? So for those who don't know, Cardano, ADA, is a decentralized blockchain. Let me see here. It's a 3rd generation protocol. So 1st gen was Bitcoin, 2nd gen Ethereum. They're looking to solve Ethereum scalability issues. It's written in Haskell programming. They have 2 layers, a settlement layer, which is responsible for the ADA currency, and a 2nd layer, Cardano computation. Anyway, okay, I'm seeing some comments here. Hey, Jay, thanks for joining. Bitbitin, Interops, doing well, guys, doing well. Hey, Brian. Hi, friends, delighted. I am a programmer. Do not hesitate to contact me for any blockchain project or Fort Knox. We did look at Fort Knox a while back. That was 2017. Man, that was a throwback. But yes, I mean, Cardano code quality is good, but as we know, right, it's not always about the code quality. Everything has to be taken into account. So the technicals right now are not so good. And the fundamentals, they're good. Not the best, but anything over 70 for fundamentals and technology, I would say is decent. Okay, all right. So next question. Okay, next question. Are you going to manipulate people via tokenmetrics to pump your bags? No. I mean, first of all, right, I went through the process of taking my Series 65 investment advisor exam, meaning that I've passed my investment advisor exam. And then now we're in the process of applying to, hopefully, pending approval, make tokenmetrics a licensed investment advisor. So the ultimate goal is for us to be as compliant as possible. I mean, we would not be reaching out to the SEC and following all their rules and guidelines to become an investment advisor if we were planning to pump bags. Now, that's also why we think this has to be really a constrained and restricted platform. That's why there are different tiers. That's why it's not free for everybody, because right. But to answer your question, we're trying to make this as compliant as possible. I don't know any other YouTuber or investor with a large audience who's really doing anything quite like this. I mean, we're trying to make this the most transparent, compliant platform out there. And eventually, once we get approval from the SEC, then we can actually start giving real investment advice, customized to each investor based on their investment profile, based on their risk profile, meaning that their income, their how risk averse they are, their income, marital status, a bunch of other data points, and create a portfolio custom tailored to each investor. It's like having a custom tailored suit. So it's not a one size fits all. So with tokenmetrics, the idea is for us to find your investment goals and create something that can help you make money while mitigating risk, something that can help manage your portfolio for you. So for example, in the last week, because not everybody is suited to be a day trader, and not everybody wants to be a day trader. And doing research on all these cryptocurrencies, to over 1,000 of them, and finding those hidden gems, those diamonds in the rough, takes time. So what if you could just automate it and have somebody or platform where you tell it, okay, this is what I want. This is my profile. I'm very conservative or I'm very aggressive and what have you. And we create a portfolio tailored to you. So each investor ideally would have a different portfolio based because each investor is different. Nobody is the same. So that's what we're looking to build eventually. It's definitely not here yet. Right now we have the platform, the analytics platform, which is the data and analytics. And that's what we're building. And then the next step, once we get approval from all the regulators, we can start really customizing and providing customized advice to invest that's tailored to your needs. Meaning that, I mean, if I have a particular portfolio, that's not what you may need or somebody else may need. They may be different, right? Because I mean, for me, I'm self-employed, right? But if somebody is married with 4 or 5 kids and only makes 50 grand a year, their portfolio is going to be different from mine, right? Because people are just different based on their investment goals and profile. So that's what we're trying to build. So no, we're not trying to pump bags, no. But hey, that's a fair question, and I always like answering fair questions. I mean, because, hold on, I just want to share this with you. So people were asking how I studied for the Series 65 exam. I can actually cover this since I'm online now, right? So I went through Kaplan Test Prep, did their online course and in-person course, but just based on scheduling, I wasn't able to attend the in-person course, but I still passed my exam without it. So, I mean, I was very, very impressed. So these are the books they gave me. Now, this is called Securities License Exam. Uniform Investment Advisor exam. This is for the Series 65 in the US. This is an exam you can take. Anybody can take this. Unlike the Series 7 and 63 for being a broker-dealer, you don't have to be endorsed by a broker-dealer. So for this, anybody can take it. You just have to pass the exam. It's a pass or fail grade. I mean, this is thick. I mean, it took me a while. Then they have lots of online practice tests. They also give you like a little, some manuals and stuff in here. And they give you this little like cliff notes or cheat sheets, right? And I was very, very impressed with Kaplan. And I mean, so shout out to Kaplan for helping me pass their Series 65 exam. If anybody has any questions on that, feel free to ask. I'm always an open book. I've been looking into maybe taking some other exams as well, maybe during the Series 7 for broker dealer, because I see where the space is going. The space has matured a lot. I mean, gone are the days where anybody can just come here and just talk about whatever. So that's why I've been embracing regulation and compliance, right? I mean, people have called me the biggest shill, but the biggest shill in crypto, biggest altcoin shill in crypto is now working towards becoming a SEC licensed investment advisor. I mean, I'm not hiding, guys. I mean, it's definitely, it's not easy, it's tough, but it's the future. So, because I'm thinking long term, not just for me, but for Tokenomics and everything we're doing. And we want to be fully compliant, fully compliant. That's why sometimes you go all the way to the top, but you got to come back down and rebuild. It's like building a house. Imagine you build a house using sticks, but eventually you realize, okay, this house is a nice house. It's made out of sticks or wood, but it's not going to last long term. I have to really start afresh from a new foundation and build this house, this mansion out of bricks, so that when a hurricane comes, when a typhoon comes, you're still there. You're still that rock in the ocean. Anyway, I apologize, guys. I'm just flowing. I'm rambling a lot, but hopefully people are finding value out of this. Now back to your questions. Okay, next question. What do you think about Stellar XLM? Is it the next Ethereum? Oh, is it the next Ethereum? I don't think so. Okay, I mean, Stellar is not really popping up here in on our lists of cryptocurrencies we would look at right now. Okay, I mean, so technology is solid on Stellar. That's something we can definitely put on wax. The technology is solid. The fundamentals decent. So meaning so as mentioned earlier, anything over 70% for fundamentals and technology is a pretty decent project. We based on our research, obviously not financial advice, just our opinion, until we become licensed investment advisors and approved by the SEC. But until then, it's just our opinion. It's a decent project. The technicals are not there right now, but overall, it's a decent project. Is it going to replace Ethereum? My personal opinion, I don't think so. I don't really see that happening. Ethereum has such a large network effect from developers building on top of it. It's going to be very, very hard to displace. Anybody who's going to displace that has to come and be 10 times as good, because that's the only way that's the only thing that's going to incentivize developers to leave Ethereum and build on top of Stellar. I mean, Stellar definitely has good traction. They have that partnership with IBM, which is legit. I mean, even me as a former IBMer, I was surprised that IBM partnered with Stellar. I was like, oh, wow, okay. But other than that, let's pull up the fundamentals. Okay, so fundamental score is pretty decent. I mean, they do have, it's not so scarce, meaning that tokens are easily accessible to everybody. The bunch of tokens. Market standing is pretty good. Development is decent. Liquidity, marketing is solid. Reputation is all right. Team is solid. Security, okay, why is security so low? Okay, so there are less than 100 nodes on their network. So it's not really decentralized. So that's why it got a very low score for that. And that's pretty much its weakness. But I mean, it's because Stellar is a fork of Ripple and the same tech, and I think part of the same technology. So let's see here, right? So Stellar is a network of assets, including tokens and fiat. Though Stellar is a lot like Ripple, its approach is slightly different. Ripple is aiming to streamline the existing banking network. Stellar takes a more peer-to-peer approach. So think of Stellar as Ripple for consumers, while Ripple is Ripple for banks. Let me see, hold on, let me just make sure I'm correct with that. Okay, Stellar is a native currency of their blockchain. Okay, XLM has a fixed annual inflation of 1%. Okay, let's look at the technology. Technology is solid. The only thing it really lost points on was innovation, because there are other similar projects. And I mean, a small subset of the crypto ecosystem can really use Stellar 1 to 5%, as opposed to something like Bitcoin or even Ethereum. But yes, I mean, the project is unique. And overall, I mean, the tech is good. So the only thing really missing is just the technicals. Now is not the time to get in because the market is tanking. So when the market does get better and altcoins become more bullish, Stellar would definitely be on the list of good projects to look at. Okay, hold on, sorry, let me just see what, so the price was, okay, I think this model here. Okay, yeah, so we definitely got to update our models. So ignore the price for, actually, no, sorry. This is not the price. This is just the error. Okay, so Stellar at 7 cents. So the model is saying it's going to be pretty neutral. Now, obviously, past performance is not indicative of future results, even though we are trying to predict where it's going. But the market, as you guys have seen, is volatile. Anything could happen. If China comes out and says we're banning everything besides Ontology and Neo, I mean, nobody can predict that. But so the goal with us, with the machine learning, is not to be 100% accurate, right? Because that's never going to happen. That's impossible. But what our goal is to be better than the best human out there. Is to be better than essentially just any human, because humans can only do so much. Machines can look at a lot more data points. They can look at infinite amount of data points. So for example, we're looking at 20 million models a day. 20 million models a day. So I think that's really, I mean, I know I personally couldn't look at all those data points in a day to figure out what that edge is. So, but the whole goal of what we're doing, the whole premise is, if there's any cryptocurrency out there where there are patterns in the data, and the idea is to find those patterns and have that edge. And having that edge in investing is crucial. That's how money is made. That's why quant funds are dominating Wall Street and now are dominating crypto, because they have an edge. So despite what you hear out there, markets are not efficient. Let me repeat that again. Markets are not efficient because they're very volatile. I mean, first of all, you have to have the assumption that markets are efficient assumes that there's perfect liquidity. And we all know markets, for the most part, don't have perfect liquidity, especially crypto markets, cryptocurrency markets. Cryptocurrency markets are highly illiquid. So question, who here is holding an altcoin in their bag that is illiquid? If you are, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what that altcoin is. I know I have a bunch of altcoins that are illiquid. I mean, first of all, Sparkster, Resistance, Pixio Chain, what else? Lending Block. Actually, I did sell Lending Block a while back, but I mean, I have my bags as well. So markets are not efficient. So if markets are inefficient, the idea is to find those inefficiencies and monetize them and make money on them. So those inefficiencies may be blind to humans, but computers can find those inefficiencies. So let me pull up here a quote from Jim Simons. So in terms of how they make their money. For those who don't know, Jim's he's one of the most successful investors of all time. So a book just came out on him from a Wall Street Journal writer. I have it on my list. It's called, I think, The Quant Revolution, something like that, How One Man Beat the Market. Anyway, let me find that quote here. So, okay, so first up here, let me zoom in so you guys can see. Right, so in October 1996, he said, patterns of price movement are not random. However, they're close enough to random. Then, right, so we search through historical data looking for anomalous patterns that we would not expect to occur at random. Right, so let me just pull up all the articles on him so you guys can know exactly what I'm talking about here. Yeah, so the book is called The Man Who Solved the Market. Okay. All right. Okay, they want to make me pay. Okay. All right. All right, Bloomberg here, right? So this article is from Bloomberg, the former code breaker and math professor who figured out how to do one thing very well in markets, right? So this talks about, let me see if I can skim here. So his net worth is more than $23 billion, according to estimates. Right, and let me see here. The fund, so they capped out, right? They couldn't manage more than $10 billion. So going back to the person who's saying, and anyway, I think we already answered that. So he was a former math professor and codebreaker, worked for the Institute for Defense Analysis, worked for NSA. Where's the quote about patterns? Okay, I can't find it right now. Let me go to maybe it's the Wall Street Journal one. Okay, even this one, we gotta, you gotta log in. Okay, maybe Wikipedia, our friend, can help us here. Right, so let's look at the Cliff Notes version. Okay, so his fund is called Renaissance Technologies, and they have so they employ specialists, not from finance, but from math and science, basically quants. Okay, I apologize, guys. This is what happens when you do stuff live. Let me get the book on Amazon. All right, so the book is called The Man Who Solved the Market. So I have this in my to read list on Audible. Well, not read, but to listen on Audible. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. So one book I did finish reading that I can definitely recommend for anybody out there is called The Partnership. This is a book about it's about the history of Goldman Sachs. So I would give it 4 stars out of 5 as well. Right, so The Partnership, the making of Goldman Sachs, it's a nice history of Goldman Sachs, how they became who they are. And it was very, very fascinating. As somebody who's now kind of getting more involved in the space, taking my Series 65 exam, and now working towards becoming a licensed investment advisor with the SEC, right? Learning about Wall Street has been really, really fascinating because we're looking to, in a way, build Wall Street 3.0 for the people, right? Not quite decentralized because we have a company called Tokenmetrics, but we're really trying to take what Wall Street has done and applying it towards blockchain and crypto because this is the future. And before those big players get in, they have to be those small fish, those small companies that really build and innovate down deep in the trenches before the big players come in, because they come in towards the end. They don't come in and while the party is still small. They come in when the party is almost over. So I definitely recommend that book. But yes, let's get back to the questions. Hopefully that answered your question. So, right, about Stellar being the next Ethereum. I kind of veered and went all the way to talking about books on Amazon, but hey, it's a free-flowing show. Okay, Tokenmetrics is down. Any advice? It's now back up, so it should be working. So just go to tokenmetrics.com. So apologies for that, but the site is now live. It's now working. So here's a site. Sign up, and hopefully we can all go to the moon together because that's the goal. Okay, all right. Back to Mentimeter. Hey Ian, thank you for doing these live streams. Came on late, so my bad if you already said this, but when will Tokenmetrics service be available? It's going to be available within the week. So by the next live stream, we will have launched to 2,000 people maximum, because we're still testing a few things. We don't just want to open up to the whole world. We want to make sure we're solving any bugs and any issues and anything out there that's coming out, because we've put together a solid team and we just want to make sure we're catering to a good subset of customers first and making sure they love the product, and then slowly scaling. So just make sure you're subscribed to the email list. We'll be communicating you mainly through email. If you're on the email list and you open the emails, make sure they're going to your spam. So make sure you add info@tokenmetrics.com and support@tokenmetrics.com to not go in your spam folder. So we'll send out an email in the coming days. The first email will be in the coming days. I would say early this coming week. We'll announce the launch date. Then we'll send out a second email announcing the exact time of the launch a day before, giving you 24 hours to plan, make sure your schedule is cleared up and you're good to be on your computer to sign up. And then we go live, an email on the day we're live, and first come, first serve, as mentioned before. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let me see if I can give a preview of the different things we have available. I mean, well, not a preview, but talk about the different tiers we have available since we're online. Now, the pages are not completely ready for you to sign up yet, but I can at least speak to them so you guys have an idea. Or maybe not. Sorry, guys, just give me a second here. And then we're also planning to have a webinar early next month. Okay, yeah, that's not what I wanted. Okay, all right. So here's one of the pages my designer was making. Just kind of ignore some stuff is still in draft mode, but I just want to go to the, yeah, this is a long page. let me I want to go to the different things we'll have available, different plans, because that's a question I have been getting a lot. Okay. Okay, all right, so here, I'll just kind of speak to it. Right, so we'll have 4 plans. We'll have the basic plan, which is free. Well, free if you sign up, free to the first 1,000 people. Now, this is based on the customer survey we had, right, to people on the invite list. We think we're planning to charge $9.99, basically $10 a month for this basic plan, but we're giving this away free forever and ever to the first 1,000 people that sign up. So it's definitely first come, first serve. Not trying to make people FOMO, but we just want to give people a reward for being early, right? So, but we can't give everybody free access forever and ever. So the basic plan, as mentioned, Bitcoin, fundamental analysis, technology and code review, real-time technical analysis, telling you whether we're bullish or bearish on Bitcoin, and in real time, and performance metrics on Bitcoin in the last 12 months. And then you also get the top 20 cryptocurrencies overall ratings in terms of where the grade of that cryptocurrency in real time. So you know which ones are scams, which ones are undervalued. And you also get portfolio tracking with risk metrics telling you how balanced your portfolio is and if it's the most optimum portfolio. So that's all free to the first 1,000 people. That's in the basic plan. Then we'll have what we're calling the hodler plan. This one is going to be $39.99 per month. But if you end up subscribing and you're one of the first 300 people for this plan to sign up, you will get 50% off, lifetime discount for the rest of your life. So that means even when Bitcoin goes to $1 million or more, you still have that lifetime discount. So that plan comes with the IEO reviews, right? So you'll know the best IEOs out there. We'll give you our honest opinion. We'll also give you real-time trade technical analysis indicators and signals for the top 20 cryptocurrencies by market cap, telling you which cryptos we're bullish on and bearish based on movements in the price, updating in real time every single day, and fundamental and technology and code reviews, in-depth reviews on the top 20. Now that's only to the 300 people initially. Then we have the investor plan. This is kind of getting for the real investors, well, well, everybody's a real investor, sorry. I mean the more seasoned or more semi-pro investor. So everything in the prior plans, but you also get early access to all our ratings. So as we enter them in the system, you guys can view them as their drafts. So let's say we're looking at a project and we're still putting it in. Before it's even published to all the other plans, the hodler and the basic plan, you can view it as we're entering it, seeing the score before anybody else. This is really the ultimate edge. Then we give you something I haven't really seen anywhere else, real-time technical analysis indicators and signals for the top 100 cryptocurrencies. So I know TradingView has some real-time TA and stuff, but TradingView only does it on the top exchanges. We do it even on the crappiest exchange. We will tell you the real TA for that altcoin you're trying to sell or buy or whatever, right? So top 100. So we're going after the long tail, not just top 20 as some platforms do. We give you real-time TA on the top 100 and also fundamental analysis on the top 100, technology and code reviews in depth on the top 100. This was very, very tough to do. Took us a while. This is something our team went through and manually scored all these projects. So this is a treasure chest worth of data. And this is probably my favorite, back-tested 30-day price predictions for the top 100 cryptocurrencies using our deep machine learning. So this is really what was the inspiration to take the spreadsheet to the next level, because we knew using machine learning and data was going to be good, right? And then also having premium reports and all that. So that is going to be more expensive. Obviously, that's going to be about $100 a month. But if you're one of the first 600 people to sign up when we launch, you will get 50% off. So that means $50 a month for the rest of your life, assuming you don't cancel. Now, one caveat, I forgot to mention this. So the discounts, the lifetime discounts, are if you subscribe for the annual package. So that's something I forgot to say. So we have different options. Those who want to subscribe monthly, right? Maybe you just want to try it out month by month, maybe based on the market. Or for those who want to subscribe for the whole year, for a full 12 months, we'll give you half off the price, the monthly price, and we'll lock that in for the rest of your life. Now that's for the first 600 people that do sign up when we launch. Everybody after that will have to have the other plan. And then this is the professional plan. This is really my former Patreon group, just kind of redone and also made a lot more affordable. Okay, so this gives you access to our private global investor network. So we'll have a private Telegram group just for people in this group that they can communicate with us, our team, and other people in the plan all over the world. Because as you guys know, your network is your net worth. And having the best network matters a lot. I know, I mean, I'm very grateful for having a great network. We traveled last year in 2018, we did the Crypto World Tour, 35 countries in 12 months, just building our network in the crypto space. So we go anywhere in the world. We have crypto family everywhere. And we want to create the same thing with Tokenomics and also share that network with other people and who are part of that plan. Because in my Patreon, we had big people in the group. I mean, I can't really say names, but what I can say is, I mean, we had the partner and founder of Neo Global Capital, former Patreon member. We had somebody in our Patreon group just launched a $200 million crypto fund. So, I mean, you're dealing with the heavy hitters here, right? This is definitely not the minor leagues. This is the major leagues. When you have a network of people who are doing moves like that, or obviously us, my partners from 100X Advisors, other people, and I'm sure even people that do join this group will also be doing big things in their own right as well. So having these people in that network, we think it's a beautiful thing. Then same thing, we'll also have fundamental analysis and technology and code reviews on all the currencies in the top 100, but also more importantly, cryptocurrencies outside the top 100. So those that are not really viewed or seen by anybody. So really finding those hidden gems before anybody else, right? So any currency in our system, you'll have access to. So right now we have slightly over 100. We want to keep on rating and adding more currencies until we have 500 and then 1,000. So eventually this plan, you'll have up to 1,000 cryptocurrencies in the system that you can view fundamental analysis for, real-time TA for. So kind of like being able to scan and find what cryptocurrency we're bullish in based on the machine learning. So this one is going to get bigger and bigger and better as we add more data to it. And then this is also something I think is pretty cool. We'll be having bi-weekly investor calls via Zoom with everybody in this plan. So being able to talk with our team, me, Bill, all right, who was on the live stream earlier, Paresh Munsani, our blockchain developer and CTO, Sam, having our entire team, 2 1-hour calls every month. So every 2 weeks, we'll have 1-hour call. You guys can come in, ask questions. We can do, it's basically just a mastermind group in a way. So all that, now this used to be very, very expensive. For those of you who are part of my Patreon or who try to join the Patreon, knew it was several grand, but we're trying to make this, because now we've kind of fine-tuned this to a point where we think this can scale so the economics are better. So this is only going to be $400 a month. But if you sign up for a full year and you're one of the first 100 people, so right now this is capped at just 100 people because we can't have a group that's too big. So we want to start with something small, get that to work, then slowly scale it up. So just 100 people can sign up for this, $400 a month But if you sign up for a full year and you're the first 100 people to sign up, it's going to be $200 a month. So I personally think that's a steal. So yeah, that's those are the different plans. So just to kind of recap, so basic plan is going to be free to the first 1,000 people that sign up for 1 year. The hodler plan will be made available to the first 300 people to sign up. The investor plan will be made available to the first 600 people to sign up. And the professional plan will be made available to the first 100 people to sign up. So combined, we're giving away 2,000 slots. So 1,000 premium slots, 1,000 free slots. So if budget is tight, hey, get into the free slot. Just be early. And the lifetime discounts for those that subscribe to the annual plan is going to be locked in for the rest of your life. So even when Bitcoin goes to $1,000, $100,000, not 1,000, that would suck. Even when Bitcoin goes to $100,000, 100K, or even past $1 million, it's going to be the same price. So even as a platform grows, you have that same lifetime price. Then the best part, obviously, you want to make sure this is something people love. So there will be a 14-day free trial. So anybody out there can come in and try it. So 14-day free trial on Tokenmetrics. Then once you're done with the 14 days, if you like it, if it's something you think is of value, then you can subscribe. And even when you do subscribe, we'll be offering a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you change your mind and you say, hey, you know what, this is not so useful, or I'm not making money on this, or what have you, hey, if you cancel within 30 days, no questions asked, just contact customer support and we'll give you a refund on all your money. So we're trying to make this as frictionless as possible for people to try it. And if you like it, you join. If you don't, no hard feelings. You're still crypto family. We still love you. But anyway, that's kind of what we have right now. The pages and the materials will be going live within the week. We're definitely always open to feedback. So give us feedback in our Telegram group. Just go to, let me pull it up here. How do I, sorry, just give me 1 minute here. Just go to our Telegram group. It should be on the webpage, the discussion group. Let me gotta share my screen again. So just search Tokenmetrics discussion or Tokenmetrics alert, and your questions can be answered there by our team. But yeah, I'm very excited, looking forward to this, looking forward to doing this all over again, but now taking all the lessons we've learned in the last few years and taking this to a different level. And just to kind of show you guys some other things we have in the works. So we're creating a new system for okay, so this is going to be our platform for, so if we go to the roadmap, some of the things we're looking to create. So we eventually want to optimize for mobile devices. That's something we're working on. People have been asking about creating some kind of affiliate program. That's something we'll do, not right now, but eventually, right? That's something planned. We also do plan to translate this to multiple languages. We know the world is global, so we want to translate this to Spanish, French, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Russian, Arabic, Turkish. If I missed a language, let me know in the comments down below or in the Telegram group. Then once we get our licensing from the SEC, which is the best part, right? That's something, it's going to take a while. Our target for that is next year, definitely not this year. It's a long process. We're still, like the requirements the SEC asks for is, I mean, it's a lot. So, I mean, we have to come up with a code of ethics and other things that investment advisors have to follow. And then they could be audited randomly by the SEC at any time. So, I mean, this is not something to play around with. So it's going to take a while for us to come up with all the different things. But once hopefully once we get approval from that, then we can start really taking this to the next level and recommending cryptocurrencies to you in your portfolio, and also creating a robo-advisor that has automated investing. So being able to balance your portfolio for you weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, similar to Betterment or Wealthfront or even Vanguard and some other platforms, but for cryptocurrency, based on our token ratings and based on the machine learning data we have. If we can do this, we think this is going to change the world, because as mentioned, not everybody wants to day trade. Not everybody wants to be good on TradingView. Your phone's buzzing, Bitcoin's down 20%. Oh crap, I forgot to sell, or even some altcoin. We want to make everything as smooth and as automated as possible, because that's why we have technology. So that's something we want to create, a robo-advisor. And we think this is really the big idea, the big vision. If we can do a robo-advisor for crypto, oh man, if we can have the AI just take all the ratings we have, take whatever investor profile we have. If you say, hey, I'm very conservative, I'm 30 years old, looking to have X amount of money in my retirement when I retire. Hey, Tokenmetrics, handle this for me. What can you do? If you tell, hey, just bounce my portfolio for me every 2 weeks or every month based on the inputs I give you, and it does. It's like Tesla for crypto investing, right? It's like that Tesla autopilot or cruise mode, but hopefully it does not crash. But yeah, I mean, that's something we're definitely planning on. And this is also going to be made public to you guys when we launch, so you guys can always submit different feature requests, different ideas, any bugs, even IEOs and tokens for us to look at and add in the system, because we want to gather as much community feedback as possible, because this product will only become better based on your support and feedback. So we have some things here entered. So I know some people have talked about adding token supply curves, then also maybe looking at adding a developer API for developers to build on top of, light and dark mode, multiple portfolios and watch lists, a FOMO index that tells you whether or not the market is bullish or bearish, kind of like the fear and greed index, but we'll create our own version based on ratings, and we'll call it the FOMO index. Then whether to make portfolios on the platform public so people can follow and copy other traders. So kind of like how I used to do with my public portfolio postings every single day. So yeah, so we'll be adding different features here. I mean, sorry, the different feature requests and different things. And then we'll have you guys, the customers and users, vote on what you want the most. So whatever you want the most, that's what we'll take into account in terms of adding to the platform. So yeah, I mean, I'm very excited, looking forward to it. I mean, if you guys are excited as well, let me know in the comments below. Let me know you're excited. Okay, let's see if we have any other questions here. Okay, our chain is at testnet 3. Next is mainnet. Any updates from you? Thanks. Man, I haven't even heard about our chain in forever. I know they had that falling out where the founder spent all their money on buying some license or some codec. Then part of the team from there left and went to go and launch and form Casper Labs, which is now competing with our chain. But I mean, our chain, they were supposed to launch their mainnet like 2 years back, weren't they? So I'm surprised they're on testnet, right? Yeah, so I haven't really heard much from them. I don't even think we have that in our system because it's not in the top 100 market cap. So we had to prioritize. Well, actually, maybe we do have it in here. Okay, yeah. Sorry, excuse me. We don't have our chain. We haven't looked at it yet. So ignore the scores for fundamental and technology. But from a TA perspective, it's pretty neutral. So yeah, unfortunately, you don't really have much to say about our chain. But I mean, I got out. I sold I sold Art Chain in either 2017 or early 2018. I forget when, but I sold. It's been almost 2 years since I sold, I think, because I think they were supposed to. Yeah, I think I sold before they were supposed to launch their mainnet back in Q4 2017, and when they didn't launch anything, I got out. Yes, actually no, sorry. Okay, I sold what I could, but the rest of my Art Chain was still in the hack. So, which was spring 2018. Yeah, so after that, I haven't really looked much into Art Chain, but if anything, it seems Casper Labs it seems to be the more viable project. Casper Labs, the tech we put out a tech review on our YouTube channel. Tech is pretty good. The fundamentals are not so good now because it's still very early. So I think they're planning to launch sometime next year, but it's still very early, still very experimental. And the tech was over at 80% last time I checked. Let me see if we have it in here. Yeah, Casper Labs. Now we don't have the full score in here. Yeah, so because we're still scoring this because this hasn't even IEO'd yet. Yeah, because fundamental wise, it's still very early on it. But if I had to pick between Art Chain and Casper Labs, it's a tough one. I mean, Art Chain, their issue is marketing. They suck at marketing. So I don't really see how they're gonna grow if they suck at marketing. But hey, that's neither here or there. I mean, every altcoin now is getting wrecked. So yeah. Okay, let me see how many questions we have left. Oh man, we still have a bunch of questions. Okay, yeah, lots of questions. And I've not had food the whole day, but hey, I'm here for you guys. Okay, so Sunday night here. Okay, next question. What would be your course of action if BTC were to drop below 3K? Good question. Good question. I mean, first of all, it all depends. I mean, not to hedge, but it all depends on several factors. So the first thing is, it depends. Do you have money on the sidelines? If you have cash, if you have bags of cash just ready to buy, then I would probably buy. I'll probably buy the dip. But if you don't have cash on the sidelines, if all your money is in BTC or crypto, and you see it's going to 3K, I mean, I would sell. I would sell, hop on the sidelines for a hot minute, wait until it's at 3K, then come back in. So that's why we think the vision is really a robo-advisor, because nobody has time to be hopping on the sidelines, monitoring the price every day, every week, then to hop back in, trying to time the exits and entries in crypto. Nobody has time for that, man. So why not automate it with a robo-advisor for the people? That's what eventually we want to build with Token Metrics, where it can say, okay, you know what? Bitcoin is at 7K, it's going down to 6K. Then if our predictions say it's going down to 3K, we'll hop on the sidelines for you, cash out, it goes down to 3K, then buy back in. Now, obviously, timing the market is almost impossible. But guess what? We don't have to be perfect. We just have to be close enough. So if you've ever heard the phrase 80% is better than perfect, well, I think that applies to lots of areas in life and even crypto. Just look at Bitcoin in the last bull market in December and January. Bitcoin went to $19,000 US, came crashing all the way down at $3,000 US. I mean, just imagine the emotional volatility all of us had to endure going through that. Imagine if you didn't call the top and the bottom perfect. You were just 80% right. Imagine if using AI and human capital as well, you see, okay, Bitcoin is peaked at 19K, but you get out at 16K. Then you're on the sidelines, it goes all the way down to 3K, but you get in at 5K. Hey, you didn't call the top and the bottom perfectly, but you still saved a bunch of money. I mean, because for people who hodled all the way down, wrecked. For those that sold at 3K, imagine if you bought a 19K and sold at 3K, wrecked. Those people don't want to see Bitcoin for the rest of their lives. So the idea with us is not to be perfect, but to be close enough. And we think we can do that and automate that process with software. Software is taking over the world. Software is disrupting every industry, and it's now disrupting investing and now crypto investing. So my course of action, if Bitcoin were to drop 3K, I mean, first of all, I've been selling Bitcoin every month, not because I want to per se, just because I have businesses to run. so I have to fund the businesses, and the businesses, I mean, like right now with Tokenmetrics, right? I've been funding all the development and research and everything myself. So like, I mean, I have been selling Bitcoin here and there. When somebody gives me Bitcoin to pay for something, I sell straight to cash. No hesitation, straight to cash, because cash is still king. Because when you have to pay service providers, most of them don't want to take Bitcoin right now. Maybe when Bitcoin and crypto market gets a lot more optimistic, because I mean, long term, we're bullish. So I don't want this for people to think that I'm saying Bitcoin or all suck or whatever. No, I'm just saying timing matters. And right now, this is why we're building the platform. So you guys can see, right? Fundamentals and technology are solid on Bitcoin, but the technicals matter. So basically, you gotta ride the wave. You have to ebb and flow. So now we're riding the wave. Bitcoin is coming down to 3K. This is where active portfolio management is king, because hodling is not the best solution. Right? Buying hodling Bitcoin from 19K to 3K is not the solution. That all of us have learned that. If you've been in crypto for 2 years at least, you know hodling is not the solution. But then actively day trading is too tedious and is also not the solution. So the reality is you have to take the best of both worlds, the best of each, which is active portfolio management, meaning that you aren't day trading, but you aren't blindly hodling forever and ever. You actively manage your portfolio. You rebalance your portfolio over a particular period of time. It could be every week, depending on particular allocation. So let's say, let me go to the portfolio. This is just a random portfolio I've put in, right? Let's say you have Ethereum, Tron, and Bitcoin, right? Let's say you want to have 80% in Bitcoin, 15% Ethereum, and the rest in Tron. But your portfolio, so the way modern portfolio theory works is, okay, you set a particular allocation and you rebalance on a set period of time. It could be weekly, it could be monthly, it could be every quarter, meaning every 3 months, or it could be annually. In crypto, I would not do annually myself. I would opt more for weekly to monthly. But let's say Bitcoin goes up a lot. Let's say Bitcoin goes from 7K to 14K and your portfolio becomes like 90% Bitcoin. Guess what? If your ideal allocation is 80%, you would take profits. You would sell 10% of your portfolio and reinvest that income into underperforming assets or cryptocurrencies, right? So the way it works is, if an asset does good, you sell some of that so that you go back to your ideal portfolio weight. Then you take those profits and you buy the dip on underperforming assets. That's kind of how it works. It's definitely a good strategy. It's what most people, you've probably done it if you have a 401k or a Roth IRA or any kind of equity investing portfolios that are being done through your employer or through, or if you just done equity investing before in the past, you've probably heard of that. So Anyway, not even sure how I got into that. I lost my train of thought. But let me take a question here from YouTube. Jay Solomon asks, can you build one of these model for traditional stock markets? Good question. Right now, we've done this for cryptocurrency. We've not looked into doing this for the stock market, but I think it definitely could be a good thing to do. I mean, there are robo advisors out there. So like Betterment on Wealthfront, but they automate almost everything. They don't really give you, they lack the research platform as well, where they give you like the breakdown of how things are being done and the details and the ratings. Let's see here. Let's see if China has the balls to take BTC to zero. I dare you, China. Yeah, I mean, hopefully China does not do that. Okay, all right. So next question. What are your thoughts fundamentally on Tezos? Okay, let's take a look. My thoughts, I go with the data. So fundamentals are decent on Tezos. Technology is good, actually, on Tezos. So it's not too shabby. Technicals right now, not so good. So overall, we're bearish. But that's pretty much for most altcoins. But if we go to the actual fundamentals here, wow, I mean, so Tezos max drawdown is down over 91% from its highest price, right? Okay, actually, we got to fix this, I think. All right, so yeah, Tezos was a pretty good project. Scores well in market standing, actually perfect. Development, decent. Liquidity. Marketing is where it takes, marketing and team is where, actually, and security. So yeah, so I think it's very, so they have 1 to 200 nodes on their network. They're using delegated proof of stake. Okay, actually, I think we may have to update this, but I think on the website it shows they have less than 10 team members, but they may have more, I think, because they do have the foundation and on some other stuff. Okay, yeah, they had good early investors in the company. The team is public and transparent. Okay, I'm not sure if they have a community. Okay, I have to double check that. Actually, yeah, let me actually tell my team this. Okay, sorry guys, just give me 1 minute. I want to have my team double check some of these things here to make sure we have all the right info. Yeah, I'm telling Sam and our analysts to take a look again, because we go in and we manually vet all this data. So this is Tezos. So the community is small. Okay, I mean, even I would think they had a large community. Actually, let's take a look here. Let's do some research. Let's say, okay, so Tezos climate market. Do they have a community? Okay, so they have a Riot chat. Okay. Yeah, not sure why they didn't just use Telegram. Maybe they don't like Telegram. All right, so we're pulling up the Tezos Riot chat. Okay, you got to sign in, man. Okay. Okay, all right, so I'm seeing here, yeah, they only have 7,000 people in the community in the main discussion. Wow, so okay, so it is a pretty small community. I mean, relative to other cryptocurrencies. So yeah, I mean, fundamentally on Tezos, hopefully that answers your question. But I mean, it's decent. It's decent fundamentally. Not the best out of all the currencies out there, but it's decent. Fundamentally speaking, that score puts it in. Okay, maybe like, okay, first page. There's still a bunch of other cryptocurrencies above it that we think have better fundamentals. Okay, all right. Next question. What kind of infrastructure do you use to run all these models? Good question. We use AWS. We use AWS. That's Amazon Web Services. Then we have a server specifically. We have several servers, but we have servers specifically just for machine learning models. That it's basically an I believe EC2 instance. So the tech team handles all this. We use Amazon Cloud Compute to handle the cloud computation, so that way we can scale up infinitely. And then we use Google's TensorFlow machine learning framework, library, whatever you want to call it. But Google, shout out to Google. Google really changed the game. Google, when they created AlphaGo, for those who don't know, Google AlphaGo was the machine learning software that beat, I think, the world's best person in let me Google this. The world's best person in Go, in the Chinese game Go. Google AlphaGo. And this really set the wave of machine learning. So there was a video on YouTube. Actually, let's play the trailer. But I just love.
Go is the world's oldest.
I got it. Let me just spell it.
Go is the world's oldest continuously played board game. It is one of the simplest and also most abstract.
Beating a professional player at Go is a long-standing challenge of artificial intelligence.
Everything we've ever tried in AI just falls over when you try the game of Go.
The number of possible configurations of the board is more than the number of atoms in the universe.
AlphaGo found a way to learn how to play Go.
So far, AlphaGo has beaten every challenge we've given it.
But we won't know its true strength until we play somebody who is at the top of the world, like Lee Sedol.
A match like no other is about to get underway in South Korea.
Lee Sedol is to Go what Roger Federer is to tennis.
Just the very thought of a machine playing a human is inherently intriguing.
The place is a madhouse.
Welcome to the DeepMind Challenge. The full world is watching. Can Lee Sedol find AlphaGo's weakness? Whoa. Is there, in fact, a weakness?
The game kind of turned on its axis.
Oh, look at his face.
That is not a confident face.
It's developing into a very, very dangerous fight.
Ooh, hold the phone. Lee has left the room.
In the end, it is about pride.
I didn't know something went wrong.
Yeah, it's made It's got to be a miracle.
These ideas that are driving AlphaGo are going to drive our future.
This is it, folks.
The guy had to go for a smoking break. Okay, all right. So let me, how do I get out of this? Thanks. But yeah, I mean, so Google's AlphaGo has really revolutionized machine learning because they built software. Because going back to the question before I ramble. So this is kind of, I guess, like an intro to machine learning to kind of give you guys an idea of how this works. So before, So you have different subsets. You have artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is using software to really, initially prior to real deep machine learning, you would just use software to program conditional, basically if this then that statements. So saying have you ever played a game or video game that was so easy to beat because the AI was stupid? Because the AI was programmed to do a particular finite amount of actions based on what they thought was possible. But as soon as somebody comes and does something outside the defined rules, it crashes, right? It becomes very, very stupid AI. Now with deep learning, you're basically taking data and software and saying, okay, we want you to learn without really much human intervention. So unsupervised machine learning. So learn on your own in the same manner a human does. The same manner a baby goes from learning something by themselves and learning how to walk and crawl. So the way they beat the infrastructure Google used to create AlphaGo, they created a model and created a second model, and they had them compete against each other. Then whatever model won would then go on to the next round and keep on competing and competing and competing. And basically the model trained itself to become very good. So it trained itself to become very good, I believe in just 3 days, to beat one of the top players in Go. Let me see if I can pull up the article here. Yeah, so it beat KG, the world's #1 ranked player at the time, in a 3-game match. I mean, that's incredible. AlphaGo 0. Okay, so here it is. So AlphaGo 0, a version without human data and stronger than any previous human champion defeating version. By playing games against itself, AlphaGo 0 surpassed the strength of AlphaGo Lee in 3 days by winning 100 games to 0. They played 100 games and it won 100% of the time. It reached the level of AlphaGo Master in 21 days and exceeded all the old versions in 40 days. Okay. So Google has been doing amazing work in machine learning, and they put out a library called TensorFlow. So anybody out there, it's open source too. That's the great thing about it. So you just go to tensorflow.org. Anybody can have the power of machine learning open source. And they have different frameworks and for different languages. So we're using this to build our own models. Now we're also using what we call genetic algorithms, which is kind of going into a subset of unsupervised learning. Let me see if I can pull up anything here. Right, so, but I mean, for me, I love genetic algorithms. So that's just kind of from doing our research, that seemed like one of the ways to really build an optimal model that could learn by itself. So it follows evolution and natural selection, survival of the fittest. You create different machine learning models, and then those models, over time, you introduce variance, basically a mutation, and you try to find the models that survive the best over several generations. And those models that survive based on what you determine as the benchmark. So in terms of this actual algorithm, it's called fitness function. So the fitness function is the measure of success. So actually, hold on. Were you guys able to hear the audio? Did the audio come out clearly when I played the AlphaGo video? Let me know in the comments below. If it is, then I can play some more videos. Hey, Alice, thanks for joining. Luka Doncic. Oh, man. Oh, man. Luka Doncic is crushing it. Crushing it, man. I mean, he's an MVP candidate already in his second year. Incredible. Incredible. Actually, hold on, guys. Just give me 1 minute. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Okay, guys, I'm back. Apologies for that. Just had an interruption here. But speaking of Luka Doncic, Alice, thank you for the jersey. I still have it, man. I still have it. I'm not sure if you guys can see it here. But Alice was part of my Patreon group, and he gave me Doncic's Real Madrid jersey, signed. Hala Madrid. Doncic. Thank you, Alice. This one is a keeper. I'm going to keep this forever and ever. I should actually frame it because he's bound to be a future MVP, man. Future MVP. So I definitely appreciate you getting the signed autograph. That's Crypto Family. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So back to the discussion. We're talking about machine learning and genetic algorithms. Okay, so let me know, guys. Can you guys hear the video? But I mean the audio when I play videos. I definitely recommend you check out a channel. Let me pull it up here. It's really good at explaining genetic algorithms to beginners. It's called CodeBullet. Right, so check out the channel called CodeBullet. This is the channel, CodeBullet. It's called How Artificial Intelligence Learns, Genetic Algorithm Explained. And it's a great video, actually. Very, very good video. So I definitely recommend you check it out if you're curious. But let's go back to the show. So in terms of how our models work, we use cloud computing and open source libraries like TensorFlow to build the models that learn and get better over time. So it's reinforcement learning. It can also be called deep machine learning. But I mean, because outside of crypto, that was probably the field I was most fascinated about over the last 1 year. That's why I've been reading so much about it and then bringing on the machine learning engineers. Okay, next question. Did the hack of your wallet ever get resolved? What lessons learned would you share? It's still pending. I only got a small amount of the money back. The rest of the things is just kind of being done by the FBI. They're issuing subpoenas and things like that. So, I mean, will it ever get resolved? Who knows? I don't really know, right? It takes a while because they're not just thinking about me, about some rich guy who lost his money. They're thinking about everybody and taking down the entire hacker group and ring. But lessons learned, I mean, security. You just got to be very, very cautious. Don't opt for convenience, always opt for the most secure thing. So with me, I like things that were convenient. So, but now hardware wallets for everything. And then, hey, just think about the worst case scenarios and always plan for those, basically. So that there's a great article on security that's out there. Let me see. Let me see if I can. It's actually published by somebody I know. His name is Eugene. Yes, so here's the article, I believe. Right, so I definitely recommend you read this article. So 10 hacker-proof steps to secure your crypto assets. It's a nice guide for beginners on, well, anybody in crypto. So for step one, you gotta have multiple ledgers, not just one, multiple. So in case you lose one, you have cloned copies that you keep in different locations. And then use password managers. So never, ever use the same password on any site more than once. Always use password managers. So if one password is one, there's LastPassword as well. There's Dashlane. There are a bunch of others. Use 2FA, not texting, but 2FA authenticator. So whether Authy or Google Authenticator, use that. Because the issue with text messaging, SMS, 2FA is you can be SIM swapped. Even you could have the best security in the world, but these hackers just call up your phone company and social engineer them to putting your number to a different phone number. They just call in. I definitely recommend you also watch a video that came out. Let me see if I can pull that up as well. I have so many references, guys. I'm sorry. CNN hacker video. Yeah, so there's just other video on CNN.
You have stolen about $2,500 worth of hotel points.
Right, so where this CNN journalist, tech reporter, gets hacked right in front of him for TV, obviously.
You have stolen.
Right, and it shows you how easy it is because phone numbers were not meant to be used as forms of identification. So, it's broken. And then Michael Turpin, you guys know, he lost over $20 million in crypto because somebody SIM swapped his phone through AT&T. And AT&T is definitely a carrier I would avoid. I mean, I've heard so many bad things about it. And because they're phone company employees that sell their login credentials or give access to their login credentials to people on the dark web for money. So for example, I've heard stories of AT&T employees going on the dark web and selling some software that only employees should have to access people's phones so that the hackers then have access to that software and they can just SIM swap anybody that they like. So, I mean, it is it's a crazy world out there. I mean, because SIM swappers have targeted me, other people in our network, other investors, whales, what have you. I know somebody who lost millions getting SIM swapped. So definitely be careful. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, I mean, and the crazy thing is some parts you can't even prevent because the phone companies are the ones that are at fault. And until they really get better, you should definitely do that. Right, so what are the guys? So go through this guide. I definitely recommend it. It's pretty in depth. Just Google 10 hacker-proof steps to secure your crypto assets. So that should hopefully answer your question. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've learned. just have, if you can, also have a security assessment. Have somebody who's a techie see if there are any weaknesses in your security system that can be resolved. But yeah, that's it. Theta is probably the best project in streaming. Have you invested? No, I have not invested. Theta. I looked at that a while back when they had the ICO, but I don't think we have that in the system, or do we? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So fundamentals are actually decent, fairly good, but the tech is not so good. Yeah, so let me just read this for those who haven't heard of it. So it's an open source protocol that powers a decentralized streaming network. So it will allow for decentralized dApps to be built on the top of the platform. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so fundamentals, but on performance-wise, okay, so it's down 53%. So it's basically been dead for a while, but it seems to be recovering. Okay, it has good market standing. Development, liquidity is all right. Marketing is good. Reputation, team is solid. Security, so it's not fully decentralized. And then the tech, okay, it's not so innovative, according to Paresh, our developer. And the architecture is not so good. Code quality is good. Usability, cases, not so good. And the team, the development team is not so good. Okay, let me look at the development team here. Okay, so they have less than 3 active developers on their GitHub. And their average background is intermediate. Their coding style is reasonable. Looking at the code, it's open source. It's good code. No other language is better to program than what they chose. They have more than 10,000 lines of code. They have more than 10 commits per month. The code quality is good. It's commented. They have good test coverage. And the quality of their maintainability index is good. Again, the architecture, it seems to be pretty medium, pretty average. And streaming is a very, very small use case, right? So not all of crypto is going to use this. But the project is unique. All right, so I mean, that's our take on Theta. Have I invested? No. Me personally, I don't think I have any plans to invest at the moment. Maybe, I mean, but hey, I just go based on the data. So if things do change, that could be possible. But at this point in time, the answer is no. What do you think about VET, V-E-T? Okay, let's take a look. VET, VeChain. We looked at this last week. Okay, so fundamentals are solid. Technology is not so good. TA, now's not the time to enter. That's the take on VeChain. Now let's see if the pricing prediction has adapted. Yeah, the pricing prediction for this is not so accurate. Yeah, okay, I'm not sure why this is showing the same price, but it's moving. Huh. Okay, let me take a look. Okay, I think I get it. Because we're only showing two decimal places. But I think it goes. Okay, hold on. Let me just double check to see if we have the right info for this. Okay, I mean, let's see what they have. Okay, yeah, so 0.00527 is the price. Okay, so we should probably show multiple decimal places so people don't get confused for that. Okay, I will tell my team to work on that. But yeah, I mean, what do I think about it? I mean, pretty much solid fundamentals. Technology could be better. Now is not really the time to get in this market, but maybe definitely keep an eye on it. I mean, this is showing it could increase slightly, but I mean, the market has been pretty rough, right? So now the accuracy is not, for the last month, wasn't so good, 6 times out of 10. Not bad. I mean, that's still better than the average traders win-loss ratio, right? So as a win-loss ratio, that wouldn't be too bad, but it's still not ideal for me to, I personally would not get in. All right, guys, I think we're getting to the time where we should wrap this up. It's been a very, very long live stream. Hope you guys liked it. I mean, if you guys liked it, just let us know in the comments below. Share this with your friends. And once again, Token Metrics limited launch coming within the week. Make sure you're subscribed to on the website and also in our Telegram group. We'll be sending out the email communications this coming week. First one will be out in a few days, early this coming week. All right, guys, that's it. We're out. Thank you so much. And don't forget, guys, the moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond.